We move on now as we continue to focus on the Child Protection Week, and today we look into one of the unfortunate incident, that of course of a 19-year-old learner who allegedly stabbed his fellow learner to death. The grade 11 learner is alleged to have stabbed 3 fellow learners, killing one of them. He then fled the scene and police later arrested him in Dobsonville, Soweto. He is now facing 1 count of murder and 2 of attempted murder. Some parents at the Forest High School have threatened a shutdown if a 19-year-old accused of killing another pupil returns to the school. And the question here is, will this not be a violation of the accused's right if he is denied to go back to school? We talk about this, of course, with Mayor Angie Makwetla. She is a commissioner from the South African Human Rights Commission, really responsible for children's rights. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for coming through.
Good afternoon.
Yes, so this particular case, as I gave a bit of background on my introduction, really, let's just first get your reaction as a commissioner responsible for children's rights.
Yes. I think we need to take things slowly and realistically. The young man, because he's no longer a child is from 0 to 18, so he's now in the youth stage. So the young man who is alleged to have killed the other one, I've even got their names here, Daniel Bakwela, may his soul rest in peace, and may his family also find comfort. Now, Mohammed Mwela needs to be allowed to continue with his education. He has a right to his education. However, we need to be realistic and not force issues, because if he goes back to that school, it really would not be comfortable, not for him and not for the rest of the school.
And I think that is what precisely what the parents are saying,
Yes.
that we do not want him anywhere near our kids. For the sake of our children's safety, he shouldn't be allowed back to the school.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I think he also needs to be kept safe. Because, you know, when tempers are high, anything can happen. So my own proposal would be that he be found perhaps another school, or even better, to be put in a child and youth care center where he will then be under the supervision of social workers. He can easily get his exam papers and write the exam.
Yeah, because I was about to say, if he was to be moved to a different school, obviously the parents there as well would be uncomfortable with the situation as well. So as you say, the solution here may be him being put at a child youth care center.
Into a youth care center where he will be under the supervision of social workers. Because this is a deeper issue, to be very honest. The violence in schools keeps flaring up. It even seems to be worse. So perhaps things have to get very worse. You know, when you have a sore, it has to first fester and then it can start healing. So perhaps this is the beginning. And I was very comforted to hear Satu saying that this now calls for serious summit.
Yeah.
Between everybody that is involved. There's a Department of Social Development. There's a Department of Basic Education. There's parents. We need psychologists. We need social workers. We need the children. Now, this is very, very important, Balisa, because we are not listening to children. We think we know what children want. We do not. I'm saying that because last week on Saturday, we again tried to launch a children's manifesto. Now, I'm very excited about this.
Is it the one that we spoke about here on the show?
Yes, I've even brought you copies this time. Because we need to create platforms for children to come and tell us what their needs are and what they expect from us as parents, better still what they expect from government, because they have articulated everything in here. But sadly, each time we call for political leadership to come and listen to the children who know what they want, they are articulate, they prepare, and they state their case very, very clearly.
Yeah, we've had them on the show and they were not happy that political parties did not heed their call. Only 2 apparently pitched during that particular meeting. But as we know, And as we've been saying this entire week as we were observing this Child Protection Week, is that it is every citizen's duty really to protect children and also to create a safe and secure environment for them. But how can we go about doing this as parents? We send our children to school and they come back not alive anymore, so to say. They come back traumatized. Yeah. They come back injured. Surely this infringes on their right to education.
Yes. And sadly, a lot of South Africans don't even know their own rights. So how will they know the rights of their children? However, having said that, I think we need to go to the back to the drawing board. We need to sit. We need to look at South African society. So South African society is very violent for various reasons. Because of past injustices, because children grow up in violent communities, violent societies, they know nothing else. The other thing is that these children that we are talking about come from very poor communities, very vulnerable communities. If a mother or a father has to get up at 3 and leave the house at 4 and come back at 9 at night and the children are sleeping, when do they get the time to talk to the children? Now, when we were children, and I know people are going to say, oh, please, she's so old, this one. However, we used to have youth clubs where children could go and mingle amongst their peers and get mentorship, get guidance, because we have got to teach our children the right values. We cannot put children in schools and expect teachers to do everything. Teachers are there to educate the children, to look after the curriculum. My curriculum at home is to inculcate the proper values, the proper principles, so that the product that I produce and put out into the community is a product that a child that knows that this is wrong. When I get angry, this is how I communicate my feelings, and I do not take up whatever weapon and hurt the person that has hurt me.
Yeah, we've once had an educational psychologist who was saying that there are so many broken families in South Africa, and as a result, we get these incidents of children, as you say, who do not even know their fathers, for example, who never have any males role models. But going back to the issue of the rights of children, really, as articulated in the Children's Act of 2005, the theme for the week says, let us protect all children to move South Africa forward. Where do we even begin? We've spoken about a number of issues, but from where we're sitting now, where do we begin as families, most importantly?
Now, if you think back to the issue of violence against women, we all saw on television our President Cyril Ramaphosa being shocked beyond belief because of what he saw and because of what he heard. Perhaps we need such a shocker, because we need to draw the attention of the leadership. We need political will. We need to draw the attention to say, these are our children. And we keep saying, children are the future of this country. What future? Because we don't even have a future to hand over to them. So we as adults, we who are tasked as a Chapter 9 institution, we are tasked with protecting the democracy of this country. We need to keep pushing, and that is why I said I'm very excited that SATU wants to sit down and talk. So within the next few days, the South African Human Rights Commission will call a round table of all the major stakeholders and let us plan these summits, not just one summit, because this thing is national. And we need to make sure that it also reaches out into rural communities, because it's not just in the cities that this is happening. This is a national crisis. This is a national catastrophe, and it needs us to stand up. I keep saying Child Protection Week, maybe just for a week, but it's good that we do have this Child Protection Week, because then we put the spotlight on the children.
Yeah, and but it's got to be a continuous work for 365 days.
And now we can take it forward.
Yes, indeed. Ma'am Angie, you and I can talk the entire afternoon, really, but we'll leave it at this for today. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
All right. Many thanks there to my guest, Ma'am Angie Makwetla. She's a commissioner from the South African Human Rights Commission, responsible for children's rights, really looking into this matter that happened earlier here in Gauteng, but also really as we are about to conclude Children's Protection Week.